Okay, so we've gotten the rest of the, we'll call them strengthening bits, I guess, off of the bottom of the chassis. There's a lot more to do, so these still have to come off. We've got to flip the frame back over to the other side. This t-shirt cruciform panel has to come off. There's probably going to be some holes underneath that one too, and then we need to start welding and strengthening everything back up. But before I cut these off and before I flip the frame over and get this top panel, I want to try and repair these sections with the holes in them. And that's mostly just to do with the idea that as you're removing more metal from this frame, there's just more potential for something to flex and kind of bend. So I am going to do this first to keep it as strong as I possibly can. Now, I have taken a grinder, you can see, just to the outside to see where can I see kind of clean metal. Ideally, if you're welding sheet metal to do rust repair, you're going to want to be a couple inches away at least. I mean, at that point, you're replacing the frame. So we're just going to do the best we can. We're going to get to where we can find some solid metal, grind it flat, make sure that it's structurally sound, and we're going to cut it out. We're going to do that on the outside of this anyway, and then on the inside, the way a TR6 frame is constructed is that you've got kind of a U or a C shape channel. That's the main frame piece, and then you have a smaller one. It just sort of fits inside, and they tack weld it just all along down the length of it. And so to get this inside, you don't actually have to cut the metal and weld to it. You just grind it down until you remove the upper layer of metal, so that you've got this bit, and then you can re-weld to that. So as long as this part's structurally sound, all you have to do is just cut away the top part of this metal, and you can weld a fresh piece to it. So that's what we're going to be doing, at least in theory. Probably not going to show all that on camera just because it's going to take forever and nobody wants to sit and watch that, but kind of give you an idea of what I'm doing. So we're going to come back to this. I'm going to get some of this metal replaced, and we're going to move forward. Then we'll flip it around, tackle some of the other repairs. So sit tight. Now tip, if you're making patches, you can use, and I would recommend using, cardboard to kind of cover the area that you want to do. So if you're doing something small like this patch here, I mean this is, what is it, 2 3/4 inches, something like that, by however long I feel like making the patch. But especially when you get to more complicated shapes, you can use a piece of cardboard to kind of set up the area that you want. And then now you've got a template. So you just take this, scribe a line on the steel that you're cutting, and it makes it for a lot better of a fit. I also recommend cutting the patch first And then once you have the actual patch that you're going to use, set that down on top of the metal that you're going to cut out. Again, scribe that so that you can get exactly the same size hole as the patch you're going to put in. Trim the hole a little bit smaller, and then you can either trim the patch down to size, or depending on the metal that you're trying to replace, cut the hole a little bit bigger and kind of grind it out. But either way works. Just take your time, and if you have something like this, which I think is, maybe we'll make it a little bit longer here, but otherwise I think that would fit. All right, cool.